Right, hello everybody. Just going to wait for some people to join. But today we're going to be talking about conditional sentences. So there are lots of different types of conditional sentences and also future time clauses. So we're going to be talking about those today. I'll just wait and see if anybody's going to join before I start. Okay. And then we will see.
Mummy, I just want you for really important reasons that I just need things, okay?
Okay. Alright, so I'm going to start because I don't know if anyone's going to join. So if maybe people are just going to watch later on, so we shall wait and see. Oh, hello, how are you? Okay, I'm going to do conditional sentences. I thought we'd go through that and some future time clauses. Did the answer I gave you... No. Did the answer about others and the others make sense the other day? I hope so. Oh, Irina's saying hello to you as well. You going to say hello?
Hello.
She says hello, but she's going to be quiet today. She's promised that she's going to be really quiet. So we shall see. Okay, so anyway... Oh, yeah, correct, Myrtle. Yes. Oh, good. Okay. So, conditional sentences. If Myrtle isn't quiet, she will not get any ice cream tomorrow. First condition. Okay, so we have 0, first, second, and third condition. And they all have the side, which is if, which is the condition. And then on the other side you have the result. So the condition gives the result. Okay. If Myrtle doesn't stop pulling my arm, she'll definitely not get any treats this week. First condition. Okay, so we'll start with 0 because that's the easiest. So 0 are the things that are just true all the time. Like... you can use when with a 0 condition because it's just like a fact. Like when water reaches 100 degrees, it boils. Okay? Or you could say if water reaches 100 degrees, it boils. It's just true and it's just fact. So we just have present and present. Okay, so you can have if with present on one side and then present on the other side. There's no will. So you just say if or when.
Mummy, can you show them my owlie toy?
At the end.
Oh.
Are all your children at home now, Irina? All your schools have closed, haven't they? Because in England, the schools have closed today. Today was the last day of school in England. So all the children are going to be at home, they think, until maybe September. So, yeah, because
Mummy, why aren't all
if it goes into the summer holidays, they will just stay off and that's it. So, so this one is present simple.
Why can't we see the people?
Everyone is at home. No, we can't see anybody. Everyone's at home, yeah. So in England, everyone's working from... Well, not everyone. People who can work from home are working from home. And as of today, all the children will be at home until it's over. So, so yeah, that'll be interesting. Okay, so 0 condition is just like facts, things that are true. And we just have present and present. So if plus present, on the other side, subject plus present. Okay, 0 condition. And you can use a when with that as well. So like a future time clause.
What a future
Hello.
time? Oh my gosh.
A future time clause is when you talk about something in the future. Okay, so that's 0 condition. And then we have... it's alright. Every time I cough, I feel like somebody's going to think I've got coronavirus. I've just got a tickly throat. Okay, so that's 0. And then we have first condition. Hello. First condition is what we call a real conditional. So it's something that can happen, and it's like a possibility. But for it to happen, to get the result, you have to have the condition come true, if you like. So it's Russian people are going to work from home. Yeah, I think at least. Is it possible? I suppose for you, will you try and teach your students online, or will you still have them come to your house? Do you think when you're doing your school students, will you have them in your house, or do you think you'll just teach them on the computer? It's kind of tricky, isn't it? I suppose if it's only 1-to-1, it's not too bad. But yeah, I think I teach people in France as well, and they are all at home, locked in, and they're locked in their houses, and they can't come out unless they are going to exercise or go to the shop, and it's one person at a time from the house, and they have to fill in a form to say why they're leaving. And if they are doing something they shouldn't be doing, then they get a €150 fine. So I have. Oh, you have you? Okay. Is that the first time you've done it? Have you done it before? Was it okay? It's a bit strange when you first start teaching on Skype, isn't it? But once you get used to it, it's fine. But I suppose you know your students anyway, so it's not so bad.
Mama.
So, first condition. Oh, okay. Were they ill, or were they just worried?
Mummy, whenever you need to wish for something, just wish on my wishing stone.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I will.
You have to open it up.
Okay, thank you. We have a wishing. This is our wishing stone. So if we make a wish,
my one.
It's Myrtle's wishing stone. So if we make a wish, we have to wish into here. Oh, hi Marina. How are you?
Oh, can you tell her about it too?
Okay, Marina. This is Myrtle's wishing thing. Oh, okay. Her Chinese lesson. That's so cool that she learns Chinese. I'm so impressed. And is she going to carry on? Hello. Is she going to carry on with her Chinese lessons, or is she going to start doing them on Skype? What do you think?
Can I borrow your
No, you can't, because I'm using it. Okay, so first condition. You're good. Cool. And are you at home, Marina, or are you still going out to work? Are you working from home now with your children? Or do you have to go to work still? Right on Sky and Oh, okay. Oh, so you're used to it then. It's no problem. That's good. Okay, so first condition I said, so example is, we have if plus present, so say if it is sunny tomorrow, if it's sunny, we will have a picnic, okay? But it has to be sunny, otherwise we won't. And the mistake that loads of people make with if is they say if we will. So that's like a massive, not a massive mistake. It's not the end of the world. It's just a common mistake that people say. They say if it will be sunny, we will have a picnic, instead of saying if it is sunny, we will have a picnic. Yeah, I know. Everything is changing really quickly in England, and we just kind of waiting every day. And I say my students in France found out on Monday. I think it was last week, they found out the schools had closed, and then on Monday they found out that they had to stay in the houses, and that was it. So it was all quite quick for them. But I don't know if the same thing will happen in England or not. I'm not sure. It's all a bit scary. Yes. So if we have to stay in our houses for 2 months, we will all go crazy. First condition. If I have to stay in my house for 2 months, my daughter will start teaching my lessons. First condition. Okay. All right. So first condition is easy. Present on one side will. It's called a real condition because it can happen. It's a possibility. Hopefully, it's not a possibility that Myrtle will start teaching the lessons, but who knows? The other day, I was teaching a lesson, and I was doing a test with one of my students, a vocabulary test. And Myrtle sat behind me answering all the questions, so the student didn't have to answer any questions. It was terrible. Okay, so do all students make a mistake with if and will? Oh no, all students. Yeah, it's really common, a really common mistake. Because they just forget that it's will on the other side. They just say if we will, because they're thinking of a future. It's a confusing concept, I think, for everybody. So yeah, not just Russian students at all. Everybody makes that mistake. So then, condition 2, they say is they call it an unreal condition, but it is possible. It's like it's not completely impossible. There is a possibility, but it's really unlikely. So second conditions are something that's really unlikely to happen.
I'm naked.
Myrtle, you can't come in here naked. You have to. I know you are. My goodness. So second condition is if. So all I'm going to do is give you an example of each one, so you have it for your records. So if plus subject, and then on this side you have. You have the past. So if plus subject plus past. What are you doing? And then you have subject plus would, or you can have other modal verbs. Myrtle, get down. You haven't got any clothes on. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. We've got a streaker. Plus would. And then infinitive. Myrtle, if you don't behave yourself, Myrtle, what will happen?
I won't get anything.
Exactly. So you have to behave yourself and maybe put some clothes on. Okay, so an example I always use. Myrtle, sorry, my daughter's completely naked. Get down. Myrtle.
I'm getting down.
So I always use an example. I say, if I won the lottery, I would travel the world. So
no, you wouldn't.
I would.
No, you would not.
I would. Get down.
I'm getting up.
So it's very unlikely that I would win the lottery, for me to win the lottery, but it's not impossible. I have to buy. If I have a ticket, there is a small chance that I could win. And then you don't always have to say would. You can use other modal verbs. You could say would, could, might, depending on how you're feeling. So like you could say, I could travel the world. It's a possibility. Or I might travel the world.
Or you could travel the world.
I could travel the world, yeah. So if I won the lottery,
you would travel the world.
I would travel the world. Oh, thank you. It is, but it's an absolute mess, and it gets full of knots. You know,
Myrtle, do you want to share this?
It gets full of really big tangly knots, and she doesn't like having it brushed. So she looks like a cave baby. Do you know what? I don't know.
Myrtle, do you want to share this?
I always say, you know, like cavemen from prehistoric times. I always say she looks like a cave baby because she has her hair like this, and she runs around like that naked. So she looks like a cave baby. Okay, so second conditional, we say it's unreal, it's not impossible, but it's very unlikely. Okay. Not impossible, but very unlikely. Okay. Okay. So if I had lottery tickets, yeah, that's exactly it. Cave baby, like I don't know. Do you ever watch the do you have the Flintstones in Russia? You have what are they? Pebbles and Bam Bam. The babies weren't they? I don't know. It's from when I was little, so I'm not sure if you have it in Russia. Yeah, she's like that. You just expect her to see like her with a bone in her hand going chewing. So second condition, yeah, not impossible, very unlikely. So if plus past and then would or could or might and infinitive on the other side to show the possibility. Okay? So they call it unreal, but it's not completely unreal. And then we have the third condition, which is the really confusing one because third condition is completely hypothetical. So it's like everything in the past, and it's like a completely hypothetical imaginary situation. It's like if you could go back in the past and change things, but you can't. Okay, so it's if plus subject.
Oh, you're not running off with my bet. Half of that is mine.
So if
half of that is mine.
If I had
You won't get any.
plus past participle, so it's like past perfect. So it's like if plus past perfect. Oh. If past participle, and then the other side is subject plus modal verb. Okay, that's lovely. Can you go downstairs now?
Nope.
Myrtle, please.
Subject.
I'm staying up here with you.
Oh, good. These people might not want to see a naked baby. Plus, and then plus have and past participle. So it's like past perfect, present perfect. Okay. Oh. Plus have. So we might all be saying, "Oh my goodness." If we had known how bad the coronavirus was, maybe people wouldn't have travelled so much. Ta-da! Okay, if I had remembered, I would have typed this on my computer before Instagram. But I didn't remember, so I haven't. If I had studied more at school, I would have been a millionaire by now. Maybe. Oh, hi Natalia. Thanks for joining. Welcome to the madhouse. Okay, so we say third condition is completely hypothetical. It's something in the past that you cannot go back and change. If I had realised how naughty my daughter would be, I would have tied her up before the Instagram. Yes. Okay, so it's to say something that was in the past, but you cannot go back and change it. So it's completely, what we say is the word is hypothetical. Okay, so it's all in the past, and it cannot be changed. So it's a crazy thing, but people often use it. People often use it when they talk about regret. So often used to talk about regret, things that we wish were different. I'm sorry about this. Myrtle promised me that she was going to behave, and I said, if she didn't behave...
Don't talk. I'm going to get sad in a moment and you're going to be sorry.
Oh my goodness. She's out of control. So if I'd known she was going to be this crazy, I wouldn't have let her come upstairs. So it's all in the past. It's completely impossible to change. Okay.
Well,
So
you can change me if you want.
oh, I can't.
Yes, Mum. How? You just have to wish on my wish stone. Shall I open it for you so you can
If
wish?
I had studied harder. If I'd studied harder, I would have passed the exam. Okay, so as I said, often used to talk about regret.
Wish on this wishing stone because that will make your dream come true and I'll stop being naughty. Okay?
Oh, okay, so I have to wish on the wishing stone to stop you being naughty.
Okay.
I wish Mert would stop being naughty.
Open it. You have to open it first.
Okay,
Open it and wish. Open it and wish.
Myrtle, downstairs now.
No, I want it.
Okay, so
Myrtle, come on now.
all to talk about, and it's often used to talk about regret.
I need your help now, Myrtle.
I want you to wish and
I have wished.
open, but you need to open it. You need to
So often used to talk about regret. I have to open this, and I'm going to make a wish, and then Myrtle's going to behave herself. What do you think? Has anyone got any good ideas? Do you have children at home at the moment, off school? I wish Myrtle would behave herself.
quietly.
I wish Myrtle would behave herself.
You haven't opened it.
I just did. Okay, so they are your conditionals. You've got 0. 0 is like for facts.
Say.
First is a real conditional with if and present and then will and infinitive. So it's to talk about things that can happen, that are possible. And then second condition is unreal, but it's not impossible. So it's unlikely to happen. And it's when you use past and then would and infinitive or another modal verb on the other side. And third condition is completely impossible, hypothetical situation, all in the past and will not change. Okay? So they are your main conditions. Now, what I was also going to... Does anyone have any questions about conditional sentences before I
Go.
move on? No, I'm not finishing yet. Before I move on. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Sorry, yeah. So you have if. I completely forgot. So you can you normally use if, and you get taught if when you first learn conditional sentences. In all the books, they use if. But you don't always have to use if. You can use provided.
Mummy.
So,
Mummy.
provided I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam.
Say it quietly.
I wish Myrtle would behave herself. There we go.
Okay.
Now, shh.
Are you done?
So, you can use provided or provided that. So, it doesn't matter if you use that or not. So, you can say, provided I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam. Provided it is sunny tomorrow, we will have a picnic. Or provided that it is sunny tomorrow, we will have a picnic. We will have a picnic. Okay? So, provided or provided that is the same. And then we have unless. And unless means if not. Okay? So, I would say unless it rains tomorrow, we will have a picnic. Oh, okay, so unless is the same as if not. Okay? So unless it rains, we will have a picnic. Provided that it is sunny, we will have a picnic. Okay, so provided is exactly the same as if. Now, what I was also going to talk about was using future time clauses. So when we use when and as soon as. Okay. So people often get this confused because people often say when I will get home, or when I will go to Spain, for example. But we use it in the same way, like a time clause. Okay, so you have when, and then you follow it with present. So like when I get home.
Signal.
When I get home, I will. I will cook dinner, for example. So again, another mistake is that another mistake is that people say when I will get right. Excuse me 1 second. Alex, can you come and take Mercer downstairs? So you use when plus present and then will on the other side. So not when. So it's always when plus present, then will on the other side for a future time clause, for something in the future. Not when I will get home, which is a really common mistake. Okay? So the same as when you use if. And it means that you're going to do it then in the future. So instead of saying, sorry about that. I just can't hold it together. So we can use when, and then if we're talking about immediately in the future, we can say as soon as. So as soon as means like immediately at that point in the future. Okay, straight away, for example. So you can say as soon as I get home. As soon as I get home. I will cook dinner. As soon as I get home, I will cook dinner. And as soon as means immediately at that point in the future. So I'm going to go home, cook dinner. Okay? You'll probably know the expression when people say ASAP, as soon as possible. I don't know if you know straight away. Straight away or immediately. Okay, so as soon as and when of what we commonly use to talk about our future time clauses. So it means at that point in the future I'm going to do that. So you can also use going to as well. That's something to remember. So the same with first condition, and with these future time clauses you can use going to instead of will. Okay, so as soon as I get home I'm going to cook dinner, or if it's sunny tomorrow we're going to have a picnic, meaning just means it's more of a plan or an intention. So if you said as soon as I get home I will cook dinner, it's like I promise. You know, okay, as soon as I get home, I'll cook dinner, I promise. Or as soon as I get home, I'm going to cook dinner. This is my plan, my intention. It's the different way of using the future tenses. Okay. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay. Is everyone clear? Do you all use conditionals quite a lot, or is it quite a difficult thing to understand? Do you have similar conditional? Oh, hello, how are you? Do you have similar conditional structures in Russia, or is it completely different? Because I know that it's obviously sometimes we teach grammar points and they just don't translate, so it's really hard to get the concept because you don't have the same thing in your own language. I don't know. I don't know any Russian apart from is it Privyet? No, Privyet? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody told me the other day and I've forgotten. You'll have to teach me. I need to learn some Russian, I think. I think I should learn some Russian and some French because I speak to lots of French and Russian people. Okay, so I'm going to recap on all the conditionals for people who have just joined. And I'll give a quick recap and an example. And if you have a question, then privet. Is it privet? Or do you say privet or privet? Like a y or a v? Okay, you can tell me. Someone can teach me. Okay, so he said zero condition. Privet. Okay, stop. Okay. Yes, okay, perfect. So zero condition is something like a fact, so that will always happen if the other thing happens. So, oh good, thank you. If or when water reaches 100 degrees, it boils. So you've got present and present. It's like a future time clause. Okay? So it's like a fact, and it always happens when the other thing happens. So present and present. First condition is the real condition. So it is possible, but for it to be possible, the condition has to be achieved for the result to be achieved. So if it is sunny tomorrow, we will have a picnic. And remember, you have if plus present, and then will plus infinitive on the other side. And you can do these conditional sentences either way. So I don't know why. Whoop, whoop. It doesn't really help. If it is sunny, we will have a picnic. We will have a picnic if it is sunny. It's like a dance. Okay? So you can do them either way around. The result first, and then the condition, or the condition and then the result. And then you have second condition, not impossible, but very unlikely. So they call it an unreal condition. It's not unreal, it's just very unlikely. So you have if plus the past, and then would or could or might plus infinitive on the other side. So if I won the lottery, I would travel the world. So it's not impossible for me to win the lottery. Do you know what the lottery is, by the way? Do you have a Russian lottery? So, you know, when you buy a ticket and you have numbers, and if all your numbers come up, you win £1 million or lots of money. So, not impossible, but very unlikely. So you say, if I won the lottery, I would travel the world. It's not impossible because I can buy a ticket. And if I have a ticket, I have as much chance as everybody else. But the chance is really small. So it's very unlikely. Okay? And then we have third condition, which is completely hypothetical, all in the past, impossible, imaginary situation, often used to talk about regret. So things that, if you think things you can't change. So if you have if, and then you have past perfect, and then you have present perfect on the other side, would plus present perfect on the other side. So if I hadn't missed the train, I wouldn't have missed the film. Or if I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam. So things that you can't go back and change in the past, we use third conditional. It's completely impossible and cannot be changed. Okay? So that's third. And I said you have to remember that we always get taught with if to start off with. When you start learning English and you first learn your conditionals, they always talk about if clauses. But instead of if, we can use provided or provided that instead of if. So provided that it is sunny, we will have a picnic. Or provided it's sunny, we will have a picnic. You don't always have to use that. That is often in things that we don't really need to use. It's just another word. And then I talked about using when or as soon as for a future time clause. So we follow, and it's a mistake that's commonly made to say when I will. Is a commonly made mistake. We say when plus present and then will. So when I get home, I will cook dinner. Or when I get home, I'm going to cook dinner. So when plus present, and then on the other side is a future. So will or going to. Okay, and if we want to be more immediate about it, we say as soon as, which means immediately at that point in the future. So as soon as I get home, I will cook dinner, or as soon as I get home, I'm going to cook dinner. Okay, so just try and remember you've got the structures, and I think third conditional is the one that people really struggle with because they find the idea of it difficult because it's all a pretend situation, because it's all in the past. It's hypothetical, so it's difficult to understand, and a lot of my students say, why do we have to say that? But I mean, I don't know if you have the same thing in Russia or not, but it's quite difficult to understand. But remember, if you're talking about the future and you're using as soon as or when or if, you have the first part of the clause is with the present and the second part is with will. Okay, if you're using the first conditional or the when or as soon as, and that's a mistake people make. Okay, does anyone have any questions? No? Everyone clear on conditional sentences? Anyone got any good plans for the weekend? Or are you all are things closed down in Russia? So in England, although we're not like France, we're still allowed to leave our houses. They are saying we have to do social distancing. So they're telling us not to go to cinemas or restaurants or pubs or anything, not to see other people unless we have to. So is that happening in Russia, or are you just carrying on as normal? Like if you want to go to the cinema, can you go to the cinema? Oh, hello. How's that working out in Russia? I don't know. No? Okay. Well, if they don't have any questions, and you're all quite happy, so I'm just playing with this thing my daughter gave me. If you don't have any questions, I'm going to just go downstairs. Like I did promise Myrtle that she could say goodbye to you all, because she was a bit sad. So I'm going to just walk downstairs and find her so she can say goodbye, because I promised, and if I don't let her say goodbye, the rest of the evening will be terrible. First condition. Okay? But if she hadn't been so naughty, she wouldn't have had to go downstairs. But she was, so she did. Myrtle, do you want to come and say goodbye? 1 second. Oh, no, she doesn't want to say goodbye anymore. She's hiding. Maybe she'll give you a phrasal verb tomorrow. Will you? I don't know. This is my house. This means you get to see how untidy my house is. Okay, so if nobody has any questions about conditionals...
Hold on a minute.
Oh, hold on. 1 second. She's coming back. She's like a film star or something, I think. Come on. She's coming up to say goodbye and good night. You have to say good night because it's late in Russia.
No, here.
No, it's even later in Russia. Come here. Okay. She's coming to say goodbye. You're going to say goodbye to everybody?
Goodbye.
And say good night.
Good night.
And I'll be a bit quieter next time.
I'll be a bit quieter next time.
Okay. Okay, thank you for joining me. And we'll see you all next time. Have a good evening and a good weekend. No, not more than 50. Oh, 50. Okay. I don't think it's... I think in England it's like 100. But that might change. It'll probably change. Okay, well, stay healthy and have a good weekend being distant from people. And I'll see you all next week. Take care. Bye-bye.